Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Casey and Joe, and I'm back with another video, and we're going to be talking about hair. The topic of discussion is why your type 4 hair is not growing in the way that you expected it to. We're going to discuss all the common mistakes that might be hindering your hair growth and how to avoid them to retain length and have healthy, beautiful hair. So before we begin, you already know what to do. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you're notified every single time I upload a new video. And let's go ahead and get started. I might have lipstick on my teeth here and there, y'all. Just ignore that, okay? Before we jump into the reasons, let's just say this. It's not that your hair is not growing, okay? Hair is always growing. It's always coming out of our scalp. The issue is you are not retaining length, and that is the reason why you feel like your hair is not growing. It's just that your hair is not able to retain the length that you have grown. I had to go ahead and just make that clear. So reason number one could be improper trimming. Over trimming your hair or not trimming your hair enough can definitely be the cause of not retaining length. When you have type 4 curly hair and your curls is in this wash and go state, they tend to curl within each other, therefore causing single strand knots. And if you're not cutting off those single strand knots, your hair can break off at its ends. Therefore, the length is just gonna go from here to here to here to here. That's why you might see some of those videos of women getting their hair cut and then the ends of their hair, it starts to get a little see-through because their hair is just starting to break off. We need it to be nice and thick. We don't want to see through those hair strands, and not trimming your hair when it needs to be trimmed can be the issue. Now, some naturals might get a little too scissor happy and they start to trim their hair way too often. If you're trimming your hair more than your hair is actually growing, obviously you're not gonna have any length either. So let's just make sure we're trimming our hair when it is necessary. The typical rule of thumb is quarterly, so every 3 months is a good time to check in and see if you need a trim. And while we're talking about trims, let's make sure we're using some good scissors. Using dull scissors can just cause more split ends and more breakage, therefore the length retention is not given, honey. If you're going to trim your hair yourself, let's make sure we have some sharp shears to get that done. And this is why on my platform I talk a lot about how I don't really enjoy curly cuts, because I don't feel with a curly cut that you are able to get everything you need to get. While the shape might look great and beautiful and all the things, you're not actually trimming all of the potential damage that you might have. For me personally, I think the best way to get a trim is on blown out hair. But I understand that there are some curly people that prefer curly cuts, so let's not tussle in the comments. That is just my preference. Reason number two could be over manipulation. Over manipulation through frequent hairstyling, especially high tension styles like ponytails or tight braids, can cause breakage. The best recommendation is to opt for low tension hairstyles or a protected style that doesn't put a lot of stress on your hair. Our hair reacts best when we just kind of leave it alone and let it do its thing. From what I've gathered, I noticed I got a lot of length within this year when I had my sew-in, but it was a little bit of tension around the edges, which I would have loved to avoid. So it looks like to me doing these quick weaves seems to be like a really good method for a protective style that's not putting a lot of stress on your hair because you're kind of just braiding your hair down. Now, the issue with the quick weaves is the leave out, but if you're having maybe a style that mimics your natural hair texture or something that you can kind of like blow out your hair and maybe style it with no heat, I think that might be really good. Make sure you are finding braiders that are not going to put a lot of tension on your hair, especially that hairline, y'all. That's why some people hairline be receding, because y'all be putting a little too much tension on this. Just leave it alone. Let it do its thing, okay? Let it do its thing. I don't even lay baby hair down. Well, I don't have any baby hair. This is what I got, y'all. And now this is from postpartum hair loss. As y'all can see, it is growing back. Okay, she was bald. She was bald. Now she's touching my eyes. So it's too long to give baby hairs. It's definitely giving adult hairs. So I just leave it alone. That is the best recommendation I can give y'all. Just try to do as many low manipulation hairstyles as you possibly do. My next reason is going to be lack of moisture. I'm speaking for myself with 4B hair. Tends to be a little dry sometimes because my hair is low porosity, and without that steam to open those pores and cuticles and all the things, whatever it's called on my hair strands, it's hard to kind of like lock in that moisture, and lack of moisture can definitely lead to breakage. Keep your hair moisturized with a leave-in conditioner, tons of water. That's how you keep your hair hydrated. When you're dehydrated, what do? You drink water, right? So that means washing your hair when it's time to wash your hair. I'm talking to you. and try to seal in that moisture to keep your hair nice and healthy. The next one, and it might hit home for a lot of people, but it's poor detangling methods. Yeah, why are you still using a demi brush to detangle? That is not for detangling. Okay, I thought we talked about this. That's gonna break your hair off. Okay, speaking from experience, detangling your hair improperly can cause a lot of breakage. Always detangle your hair when it's wet or damp, okay? Never when it's dry. And use a wide tooth comb or your fingers or a proper detangling brush for natural hair to minimize breakage. Personally, for me, I prefer my fingers because I am able to feel for all of those little knots and slowly take my time with taking them out. I think that personally is the best method. But if you are going to be detangling with your fingers, please make sure your nails are not lifted. Like, I wouldn't go wash my hair right now with my nails lifting, or if you have any like cracks in your nails, your hair can kind of get caught in it and cause it to rip. So whenever my natural nails are out and I'm washing my hair, I always like just make sure I cut my nails wherever it needs to be cut. If my nails is lifted like this, which this is not like a professional set, I just did a little gel X at home, I would soak off my nails before actually washing my hair. That's just me personally. I feel like that is just the best way to do it to avoid any of that breakage, because your hair is going to get caught in your nails. So poor detangling methods, not good, will cause breakage. Make sure you are detangling your hair properly. And my last and final reason is going to be you're not protecting your hair at night. Where's your bonnet? Where's your silk pillowcase, sis? Sleeping on a cotton pillowcase or not protecting your hair is going to also cause breakage because the friction. If you do not have your bonnet on or a silk scarf or just something and you just laying on cotton pillow, it's going to dry your hair out, cause that friction, and cause it to break. Use a silk or satin to retain a moisture and retain that length, sis. All of these are going to be really common mistakes, especially for those of you who may now just be entering the natural hair world, but they're really easy, simple fixes. So just make sure you are not using dull scissors. Make sure you are getting a trim when you're supposed to. Detangle properly. Protect your hair at night and be careful with the over manipulation, okay? And also remember, the biggest tip I can give you, do not compare your hair growth to somebody else you might see on socials. A big factor can be genetics on how long or how fast your hair grows. So be patient with yourself, be kind, be gentle, and make sure, most importantly, you are listening to your hair and its needs. Definitely share any additional tips in the comment section so we can go ahead and spread all this knowledge. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments as well. If I have any recommendations as far as products are concerned that relate to this video, I will leave them in the description box for you all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it taught you something. If it did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Okay. And I will see y'all in the next video. Love you. Bye.